Such a disturbing story, and the story all began with the dad right here in this area. He actually flags down a North Miami police officer and says, "I need help. I have video on my phone of my baby girl being beaten." And now tonight, only on 10, you are going to see when North Miami police respond and how they get this little baby girl back into safe hands.
North Miami Police, if you make yourself known if you're here.
We are bringing you right into the moment Saturday night when North Miami police rescue a 2-month-old girl.
Please come out, hands up, please. Hands up, hands up, hands up. You with the baby?
This is Rayanna Thomas. She's accused of taking video of herself hitting the infant while yelling and cursing at her. Cops say she sends the video to the baby's dad, and he flags down an officer. Cops say Thomas forcefully pushed the frightened and afraid baby girl while calling her names.
You should have done that. You should have done that. Rihanna, how many times have I not put you in jail?
Mom begins to cry, but police say Thomas also texted, "It makes me so sick that she doesn't have a different father, and I can't love her because she has a part of you."
Why would you do that? You can't do that. You can't do that.
She says she was just upset. She also told him she'd punch her daughter dead in the face, according to police.
This is unacceptable. I'm going to say the least. It's actually.
Now I will never be your hater. I'm your biggest fan. I hope it falls into place just how you planned it. Life could put you in a pickle. Just make sure it's kosher. Lean on me like Bill Withers until you smell the roses.
What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Subscribe or die trying. You see the thumbnail. More importantly, you saw the clip. Google the book first so you can find it on Amazon. The problem that I have with this story is this is not the first time I've seen something like this. But then you got to really take this a step further, because this is one of the few ways a man can actually get custody of his child in the early stages. And this is the problem, because one of the things with this clip that was said was the mother's in handcuffs and she's like, "Why did you do this?" basically. And the father's like, "Man, I tried to help you, tried to warn you, blah, blah, blah." And there was another story maybe a year, 2 years ago, maybe a year and a half ago, where the father had custody of the child because the mother was basically a criminal, I guess a career criminal, or she went down a criminal path as an adult, and she wound up getting locked up. And then she got out of prison and tried to, I'm getting back on my feet type of situation. And the court ruled that she should have custody. So he lost custody of like a 5-year-old kid when the mother was probably in prison maybe about 3 or 4 years. And it's like, wow. He's outside the courtroom crying, and people are just trying to figure out what the heck just happened. But this is part of the issue. The other clip I remember, I said this isn't the first time, there was a young lady who basically she beat the baby, and the baby was probably less than 2 months old. But she beat the baby probably, baby face was puffed up, and put the baby on the back porch I believe, and she put the baby on the back porch and covered it with trash, or is a different one where the lady threw the baby out in a hole in the trash, and the father came and got the baby. But I know there were two separate stories like that. And if I'm not mistaken, the one that was behind the house, the guy got the baby. He had to put hands on that girl for that. But people were like, he better not lose custody of that baby because the baby's face was swollen up or whatever. And then you have this postpartum depression conversation where you got to go, oh, well, she's going through something. She's a woman and a mother, and she's depressed. And, she's show her some mercy and sympathy. You know, her hormones are out of balance, and this is why she's acting this way. So, you know, give her a pass on that, and she'll be a great mother, or just give her the opportunity to be a great mother. And they do that stuff over again. I know people go with the stereotype of a abusive father, but in reality, it's really been an abusive mother for I don't know how long. Like it's been a very long time that we've had abusive mothers out here, and they just get carte blanche to be abusive. They could just do it over and over and over and over and over again. You know, no big deal, no problem. She's a mother, she's a woman, blah blah blah. And what's sad is the outrage isn't that real. You know, people aren't really as outraged as you would think. It's like, oh, that's messed up. Oh, somebody needs to get that baby. And unfortunately, even when they say somebody needs to get that child, they don't necessarily mean the child needs to go with their father. They're like, you know, can another woman, does she have a sister? Does she have a mom? You know what I mean? If nobody's there, does the father have a sister or an auntie or a mom that could take that baby, right? It's how this is how far the bias has gone that, you know, the only reason I would say this man is probably going to get custody is because it's a news story. It's so egregious. It's a news story. You get what I'm saying? So this is how bad. This is a black eye on the family courts, because I would say in the past 2 years, you've heard of some ridiculous stories with mothers in custody, and you're like, why do they even have that child? And nobody can really answer the question because, you know, it's like, if you got to ask the question, the family court is not going to answer it because it's like, well, we ruled in her favor. It's like, oh, okay. Like, do you remember the story when the father came to pick up the son, and the mother has a new boyfriend, and the boyfriend shot the father, or the time where the father actually came to see the child, and her boyfriend was about to shoot the father? It's like, you know, like these stories are on camera, right? You know, the racial dynamics are completely different. Like this story that's happened with a black girl, you know, we've had the stories of, ironically, interracial dating where uh women have just unalived babies because the baby was black. Couldn't, you know, or she didn't want the baby, so she did something crazy. Or she didn't want the father to have the baby, so she did something crazy. There comes a point where it's like, maybe, just maybe, we need to have more of an evaluation of the capacity of these parents who going off like this, predominantly these mothers, because they keep thinking that, oh, well, you know, I just did this. It's not that big of a deal. Just give me another shot. And the court goes, okay, yeah. And I would say this. It's basically because the court collects money for child support. So they're basically like an enabler and an accomplice to the abuse of a lot of these kids. But y'all tell me what you think. Like, share, subscribe, or die trying. Catch y'all on the next one. Peace. You ever been at the top of the universe? I'm gonna say it to you.